Alright, we have seen the dashboard for Kiali, Grafana and Prometheus. So let us go ahead and see how Kiali dashboard looks like when you have a real application running in a cluster. As I said earlier, I'll not show you Prometheus and Grafana, it's only Kiali. And the application that we are going to launch would be something like this. This is our, of course, Istio service mesh. And let's say we have two applications, app 1 and app 3. So what app 1 does is 90% of the traffic for app 1 is sent to app 1 service itself, and remaining 10% is sent to app 2. You can imagine why it is so, because a new feature or a new component has been added and some testing is going on. So any traffic that comes for app 1, 90% of those traffic will go to app 1 service itself, and remaining 10% will go to app 2. Similarly, for app 3, the configuration is a little different. When we call app 3 and followed by slash app 3, it goes to the app 3 service. When it is followed by slash app 4, it goes to app 4 service. And when it is followed by slash app 5, it goes to app 5 service. So these are very simple, straightforward HTML pages. There's no Python or Java application as such. I don't want to do that right now. But when we access the application, we'll be able to see that we're accessing app 1, app 2, app 3, 4 and 5 application. Now the communication happens from app to app, like app 1 can call app 3 and app 3 can call app 1. So the traffic to these services can be sent from any one of the pods, like we did earlier. But here's the thing, I want to expose app 1 to the outside world. So let's say there's an external client which wants to communicate to app 1. And the way it is done, which you already know, is using an ingress gateway. So the external client will connect to ingress gateway, and from ingress gateway it will go to app 1. Now while connecting to app 1 from the external world, 0% of the traffic would go to app 1 service itself and 100% of the traffic will go to app 2. So that is the scenario for some reason. Now let's say I have an external application, something like an AWS EC2 instance, and app 3 should be able to connect to this external application from a pod or an application container inside of this deployment. Now once all this is done, once all this is set up, we'll go ahead and see the Istio dashboard, how it looks like, how it gives us the visualization of this entire application. After that, what we'll do is we'll create two more apps, app 6 and app 7, but the distribution of traffic would be a little different. It will be based on header. So traffic to app 6 will go to app 6 itself when the header is app 6, and traffic to app 7 will go from app 6 when in the header we mention app 7. I want to create a virtual service which will have routing rules based on the header also. Now as you can see, we have to create deployments, then services for all these apps. We'll have to create virtual services, we'll have to create gateway object, we'll have to create service entry and routing rules using weighted round robin, then based on some URI and based on some header. And also there will be an external application which will be pretty straightforward. Now let us go ahead and create this application. Now once this application is created, I will demo you Kiali dashboard. So I'll walk you through the Kiali dashboard, which can be really nice. Now this application is not that complex, but imagine that you have a very complex application. You'll be able to see, or you'll be able to appreciate how Kiali can be helpful in that case. First, let us go ahead and create from app 1 to app 6. This is the deployment file, deployment and service file for all the apps, and we have all the services and deployments created in a single file. Alright, all the services have been created. Let us go ahead and test a few. This should be app 1, and then if we select, let's say, app 4, we should get the output as app 4. So all are working fine. So seems like all the services have been created, all the objects and resources have been created properly. And the next one is the virtual service and destination rule. So we'll have to create two virtual services. See this picture, in total you'll have to create three virtual services. One would be for app 1, then app 3 and app 6. But right now, as we are planning to create just two applications, app 1 and app 3, we'll create two virtual services and its corresponding destination rules. So there will be two virtual services and 5 destination rules. So this is the first virtual service, and it will be of course for app 1. That's what I have mentioned in the hosts. Everything is as we did earlier. In the destination, there are two services, app 1 and app 2. 90% of the traffic should go to app 1 and 10% to app 2. This is the destination rule for app 1 service. There's nothing much here except for the selectors. So these are the selector which is there in the pod. This is for app 2, similar to app 1. And then this is the virtual service for app 3. Now see, the host is app 3, and in the HTTP we have 3 routes. In the first route we are mentioning that if the prefix is /app3, rewrite it to slash and send it to app3. When the prefix is app4, do a rewrite and send it to app4. And when the prefix is /app5, rewrite it to slash and send it to app5 service. Of course, there are subsets. And these are the destination rules. This is for app 3. This rule is for app 4, and this destination rule is for app 5. I hope all the indentation is correct. Let us go ahead and create all the virtual service and destination rules. Alright, so all the virtual service and destination rule have been created. There are 2 virtual services. These are the 2, and there are 5 destination rules as I had mentioned. And these are the virtual services and destination rules. Let us go ahead and see whether they are working or not. So I'm inside one of the pods. Let's go ahead and try to communicate or send traffic to app 1. Okay, so let's run it in while loop. Some of the traffic is going to app 2. So app 2 is a little different. See here, this container is for app 2, and most of the traffic is going to app 1 and then again app 2. So seems like it is working. What about app 3 service? Now when we talk to app 3 service, we'll have to mention that slash. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll use the same pod. This is app 3. If I add app 3, it should take me to app 3. There you go. If I add app 4, it should take me to app 4. And if I type app 5, it should take me to app 5. So all are working perfectly fine. So this is app 5, then app 4. So all of them are working as expected. The next one would be to enable the gateway object and enable ingress gateway. And this is the gateway object. The name of the gateway is all app ingress gateway, and is selecting the Istio provided port for ingress gateway, and the port number is 80. Protocol is HTTP. Now hosts are deep.com and app.com. So these are the 2 hosts I'm allowing from the outside world. And I'm creating the gateway in the prod namespace. So I should have this all app ingress gateway created in prod namespace. The next thing would be to create a virtual service and associate that virtual service with this gateway. And this is the manifest file for the virtual service. Now let's go back to the picture one more time. This is what we want. So when it is coming from external client via the ingress gateway and it hits app 1, 0% of the traffic should go to app 1 and all 100% of the traffic should go to app 2. So this is how the setup should be. So, and our virtual service that we create and associate with this ingress gateway should be as such. And this is the virtual service. The hosts are same as that of the gateway object, and I'm associating this with the gateway object that I have just created. And of course, this is the routing rule. 0% of the traffic is going to app 1 and 100% of the traffic is going to app 2. And these are the 2 destination rules that I already have, but I'm creating it again here. So the virtual service and the 2 destination rules have been created. And now I should be able to do a curl, and it should go and send all the traffic to app 2 rather than app 1. Now let's take a look at the service again of ingress gateway. Remember that in the gateway object I have exposed port 80. So this is port 80 and it is associated with port 31797 of the node. And I'm running this while loop. This is the public IP address of the worker node. So if I try, it is not working. And the reason it is not working because I have mentioned in the hosts that it should allow only from deep.com and app.com. So you know what to do. I'll have to change it and I'll have to put the host in the header. And now it is going to app2 and all the traffic should go to app2 as you can see. And I should get the same output if I try app.com also. And this is app.com, and if I try app.com, I'm getting the same output as that of the previous one. So it is working as well. So all these setup are done. The only thing that is pending is creating a service entry for app3 so that it can access an external application which is being launched in an EC2 instance. And this is the service entry. So I'm allowing traffic to go to hosts star.compute-1.amazonaws.com and also to amazon.com. And the resolution, if you see, it is none. I cannot provide any resolution here. Let us go ahead and create the service entry. Alright, so the service entry has been created and I'm again inside of the pod. Remember that the service entry is being applied to all the pods, not only to app1 because it will go to all the Istio sidecars. Now let us try to do a curl of amazon.com. I do not have any external application created on EC2 instance, which you already know how it works. But if I try amazon.com, it is working. So see, it is temporary redirect. It is redirecting to another website, which is https://www.amazon.com. That is fine. So this is also working.